So he was also doing events. So I'm like, well, let me try this. Let me start sending emails about events. Tickets was selling out like way quicker than they normally would. But I was like, what if we like just kind of added this like $20, or I think it was between 10 and 15, maybe $20, this little bundle on the back end. It's like just to see if anybody take it. The next day I get a call from the person I reported to, and he was like, what did you do? And so I was scared. I'm like, what you mean? I'm like, what happened? He was like, we made $27,000 in 24 hours.
If you're looking for a space that feels like yours but comes with way more perks, then Bamboo's dedicated desk is exactly what you need. Now, when you sign up for a dedicated desk, what you'll get is an ergonomic chair, so your back won't be hurting while you're getting your work done. You'll also get free coffee and tea daily in order to fuel your grind. And don't forget, you get mail services and printing services right at your fingertips. And also, you get your own personal storage with the lockbox for your security and peace of mind. And it doesn't stop there. Just by being a member of any of the Bamboo locations, you get access to discounts from local businesses. So if you're ready to join the Bamboo community and find a space that's yours, what I need you to do right now is to go ahead and email Malika at bamboocowork.com or give them a call at 313-766-0134 and tell them that the Black Fridays podcast sent you. And right now, while the desks are available, if you sign up for a 6-month commitment, you'll get 1 month free. Or if you sign up for a 12-month commitment, you'll get 2 whole months free. I look forward to seeing you at the Bamboo locations. With that being said, let's get into the episode. What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to make sure that you go ahead, hit that like button, make sure you drop a comment, and send some videos to family, friends, and loved ones so that we can keep this thing going. All right, now that I got that out of the way, I want to introduce you to my guest who has been able to help their customers amass over $75 million in revenue through email marketing. Real U.S. dollars through email marketing. Miss Cierra Seay, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited. I've been wanting to be on this show, and I don't really like being on shows. But I'm excited. I'm excited because I have no idea what you're about to ask me.
For sure. Perfect. That you came to the right place. So appreciate you for pulling up on the podcast. So I would love to be able to start by first getting a foundation understanding of what is email marketing. Are you trying to tell me people are making money by just sending emails?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
So what is I don't know if anybody's ever asked me that question. Like, that's the definition of email marketing is the process of sending emails via what we call a customer relationship management system or email marketing service provider. That's the real nerdy definition of it, right? And the goal is to get people to do whatever you want them to do. Now, that's going to look different for every business. The way I like to explain it to people now is it's literally your introduction to take someone from being just interested in what you have or what you do and getting them to become a customer. Whenever I do talks or keynotes or masterclasses on it, I basically use the analogy of dating. So the opt-in, meaning the lead magnet, the free thing, the discounted thing, that's like getting the number. And the goal is to get married, which is to become a customer. And then there's a lot of stuff in between to take them from here to there. So that's how I like to explain it.
Very dope. And how do you get involved in email marketing? That's a very specific aspect of marketing and definitely a specialization because there's so many things on the back end that goes into it. And I only do a little bit for my brand and what I'm doing with Black Fridays and in previous things that I've done as well. But how did you get into how did you get involved in that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to make this story as short as possible. So I've always had a knack for marketing, always been interested in it. Long story short, I went to Michigan State for journalism and advertising, but digital marketing was still new, if that makes sense back then. When I had my advertising class, we had a copy class, and we were focusing primarily on magazine ad copy. But then our professor introduced me to this book. It's by Robert Cialdini. I think that's how you say his name. Is it Persuasion? I can't think of the name of the book, but long story short, he had an example in there about emails and the psychology behind it. So read that book, and then I started noticing in college, why am I getting emails from Foot Locker? Why am I getting emails I was just used to emails from like the registrar's office talking about a class, but I started noticing promotional emails, and I found another book. I can't think of the name of it right now, that kind of explained what was happening with digital marketing and what were going to be like the main points of contact, if you will. And email marketing was the biggest one because we didn't have like, we had MySpace and stuff, but we didn't have platforms like Instagram. Facebook was not the Facebook we know it to be today. And they had copywriting and email marketing as the top two careers you could kind of go into if you were interested in digital marketing. And from there, I was like, okay. So I just started studying, like trying stuff out, like literally for any and everybody. What year was this? Had to be 2000 then, because my son was born 2010. Probably around 2012, I joined a personal development community that just so happened to be ran by my former counselor, who was also at that particular time, still is one of the top motivational speakers in the world. So he had this community. People were in the community, but they were like complaining about not complaining, but it was hard for them to keep up with what he was doing if they weren't on like Facebook and Instagram heavy. So long story short, I pitched I'm like, we should start sending emails. And he was like, all right, let's try it. So the show up rate to his weekly mastermind calls like skyrocketed. Like it was like crazy. And from there, it was just studying. I'm a writer by nature. Like it's literally my gift. I started winning writing contests in second grade. So I already knew like that part. But the other part is the psychology, how people make decisions, understanding what's going on in a consumer's mind without them telling you. That's where the real magic is. And that's what I think a lot of people don't. When people are like, oh, it don't work, I sent, it's like, well, do you really know your customer though? So, yeah. I know that was a long answer.
No, that was great. That was great. Provide a lot of context for sure. And tell us about Revive Group and what services you offer and how that started.
Yeah, so the Revive Group originally started out as Dropout Media because I'm a 3-time college dropout. Okay. I'm very, very proud of that. Not ashamed to tell people, but that's how it started. And it started back in 2018 when I left Chrysler. I was there for 6 years as a team leader on the union side. Left there and started doing this full time. I rebranded in 2023 to the Revive Group. It was a personal rebrand and a business rebrand because I'm like, we do more than, we weren't just a media company. Like we did more than that. We literally would help people turn their whole marketing upside down. And then a lot, in a way that it made sense that it started working for them. I want to be clear when I say for them, because you have a lot of people telling you, you have to do X, Y, Z. That's not really how marketing works all the time, right? So we provide consulting on email marketing side, messaging side. We do have an agency side, very small. I don't take a lot of clients anymore on the agency side, meaning we do it for you. Workshops, we build whole strategies for marketing teams. Yeah, that's pretty it.
Dope. And I know that you work with some heavy hitters in your time. You don't have to name by name unless you want to, but you say $75 million in revenue for those customers over the years.
Probably more.
What has that been like?
I mean, it's been cool. I was so green when I started this. It's been interesting. I've learned a lot about people, a lot about life, a lot about business. There's nothing more that I love than seeing people get results from the things that I help them do.
So when it comes to working with these high profile customers and knowing that you've been able to help them generate millions of dollars in revenue, what has that done for you in terms of understanding what's possible from operating your business and your services?
That's a really great question. The one thing that I feel like probably 98 to 99% of like the whole high profile people that I've worked with that I notice about them, they are not afraid to ask questions. And they are not ashamed of what they do not know, right? So they were great in their areas, but when it came to like what I did, like they literally didn't know, and they didn't try to act like they knew. So that taught me like you should never be ashamed to ask a question, especially to somebody who you paying, right? You ask as many questions as you need to. It helped me see that at the end of the day, no matter how much money somebody make, how much money they got, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you do. The biggest difference that I think between like people on that level and like it's the amount of risks that they take. Sometimes unhealthy. But when you believe in yourself like that, like none of those individuals, you could not tell them that what they were doing was not worth doing. Even if it didn't look the way that they wanted it to look at that moment, you couldn't tell them that it wasn't worth still like going after, no matter how many pivots, no matter how many staff changes, that vision. And that was the other thing. They all had a vision. Like, does the vision change? Yeah, but it's still, the main thing is always the main thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dope. So let's have some fun on Black Fridays. I want to introduce you to my favorite part, Freestyle Fridays. Hey, listen, thank you all so much for listening to this episode and any episode of the Black Fridays podcast. But I got to be honest with y'all, I really think it's something missing, and I hate that y'all didn't notice it. The thing that's missing is your podcast. Why am I not listening to your podcast? You talked about making one with your friends years ago. You know that you need one to better market and promote your business, but yet you still don't have one. This is why I created the Pocket Podcasting course, to teach you how to be able to podcast with the essentials and tools that you have right at your fingertips in order to create. And I created 2 different ways in order for you to do that. You could join my digital do-it-yourself on-demand video recorded Pocket Podcasting course, where I go literally step by step from idea on how you upload your very first podcast episode. And for my people who like to have something a little bit more tangible, I have created a digital ebook that walks you through my podcasting journey, the things I've learned along the way, the tools and equipment that I use in order to create and elevate my show. Now, look, I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Go ahead and head over to www.blackfridayspod.com to learn more about the digital podcast course and also the podcasting ebook, or you can hit the links in the show notes to take you directly to each of those resources. All right, enough of that. Time to get back into the episode. So,
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, you can start rapping.
Rapping what?
You rapping some bars. This is Freestyle Friday.
You mean like Freestyle Friday?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't rap, Denzel.
Why not? It's first time for everything.
Are you serious right now?
No, you don't have to rap.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever seen this part of your show.
So Freestyle Friday is just random assortment of questions. They all about
Okay.
you. So just need you to answer each one. Answer honestly.
Okay.
All right. So tell us, speaking of music, what are you listening to right now? What you got on rotation?
Jordan G. Welch. She's a gospel singer.
Okay.
Got me in the chokehold. Outside of Jordan, Alex Isley. I'm a huge Alex Isley fan. Lettucey. I'm in my grown woman era. Like, I used to listen to like Lil Baby and Future. I cannot no more. So Lettucey, Jordan G. Welch, and Alex Isley, like, they get the most play for me right now.
Nice. Where do you like to travel?
My favorite place is Puerto Rico. The only place I've ever been where I did not open my laptop, where I did not have an agenda, and I had a blast sitting on the beach, drinking mojitos and listening to music. Like, that's literally what I did for 4 days in a row. I didn't do nothing else. So that's my getaway.
Very dope. Would you consider yourself a Coney Island connoisseur? Do you
Not
engage in coaching?
anymore.
Okay.
In my 20s. Oh yeah.
So take me back to that Sierra and tell me what you ordered when you went to Coney.
Back then, Coney dog, mustard and onions, chili fries, no cheese, or grilled chicken pita with chili fries. Yeah.
That's not a bad deal.
I haven't had like real Coney in years.
That's good for you.
Like, I'm scared of what that might do to my digestive system. No, it's really been years though that I've it's been years.
At this point, when I was like in high school, I would do it weekly, like often, very often. But now,
early 30s for me was like pandemic time. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Once or twice a week after late night.
But now I can only do it like maybe 4 times a year. Like in terms of like what I'm typically gonna get. Like, yeah, I can't. In the pandemic, I was tearing some Coney up. I was there once a week because it's right down the street from where I was staying at. So yeah, that was
Coney
the time.
high $2 though.
It's what?
High, like expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything expensive.
But Coney?
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Everybody got tariffs, huh?
Exactly. So speaking of things being high, what do you feel like you splurge on? And you cannot say food because people love to say food. If that is their favorite thing to splurge on, but everybody got to eat. So I want to know, like, what's something that you splurge on?
These days, my life is so different from. I have more self-control when it comes to spending. These days, I would say a good cocktail, good wine, What my kids,
Okay.
obviously. It's crazy because I feel like I splurge on other people more than myself.
Okay.
And I do a lot of reinvesting back into the business. I know that's boring, but that's the truth. Now I do have like these wish lists of things I want that, you know, when I hit certain milestones, I'm like, okay, get some off the list. But I don't have like this is my thing. Like some women are bags, shoes. I do think at some point watches is probably going to be my thing.
Dope.
Yeah.
Very dope.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite piece of technology?
No. I'm not a technology buff.
Really?
I have a 13 with no case. Chrissy is probably going to comment on this and troll me, but I'm not, no.
So how are you sending out all these emails?
I mean, the laptop. But you want to know what's funny? When I first started my business, one of my good friends, I don't know if she'll see this or not, Candace, I was going through a rough time in life. It was a transition. And she was one of the people, you know, like kind of keeping me grounded, keeping me focused on where I was going, not where I was at. And she actually bought me my first laptop to use in the business.
Wow.
And it was a Google Chromebook that I still have because for 2 years I ran a bit. The laptop was probably like 10 inches. Ran it off that. And then I finally got a MacBook. But yeah, Google. I still have that laptop because I was like, I'll never forget. Like, this is how this thing started.
Dope.
Yeah.
And now you're a recent author, but you're an author. I would like to know.
Crazy.
Leave us with the book that you like to read.
That I like to read?
Yeah, you cannot say your own.
Can I say the Bible?
No, that's cheat code. Yeah.
That I read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. I read that. I read a couple pages of that like every month. Primarily because it has a lot to do with seeing yourself as who you want to be. And like I used to hate when people say like everything's in the mind. Like, no, it is. Like these 6 inches between your ears will make or break you. So yeah, Psycho-Cybernetics. It's literally like, how do you, I don't want to use the word trick, but how do you program your mind to really see yourself as your highest self versus who you are today?
Understood.
Yeah.
Very dope. Well, thank you for partaking in Freestyle Fridays, even though you didn't
I like
rap.
that little segment.
Yeah.
Is that a segment?
It is a segment.
Okay, got
yeah.
it.
I thought you watched the podcast.
I said I never seen that part.
Okay. All
I
right.
do watch it.
You tuned out at a certain point in time. I understand. It happens.
Not true.
All right. So talk to me about email marketing, and what do you feel like is some of the things that these small businesses or large scale, whatever type of businesses that you work with, what are people getting wrong when it comes to their approach to email marketing?
They don't use it. So like that's the number one thing you can do wrong with it is like not use it. Like even if you're using it and it's not, you know, quote unquote, you don't have a strategy, but that's better than not using it at all. And here's why. When people don't realize, like when someone gives you their email address, it's because they want to hear from you. You don't just give somebody your email address like, you know, you just don't do that. So when these companies get the email address, small business owners, whatever we want to call them, and they don't follow up, you are literally you're leaving it by chance that these people are going to remember you. We are all inundated with information, with opportunity. Like it's just so much we see, but the email, especially now, is way more personal. Right. One of the things I've been saying a lot this year is we hear people say all the time they're taking a break from social media, or they're not focusing on this platform no more, or they won't be on that platform. We never hear nobody say I'm not checking my email ever. Like it just doesn't happen. And there are ways to make sure you're speaking to the people who are engaged, like by keeping the list clean and things like that. But the biggest mistake is ignoring it. Like I've worked with people, literally 20,000 people on the list, and they've never sent an email. Like why not? Why not? So that's the biggest mistake.
What's to play devil's advocate, what is the incentive for me to leverage email versus if I'm just pumping out social media content, or if I already have a website, why do I need to send email?
Because so when you do it right, it's way more strategic, and then it's based on the behavior. And if you really got your marketing stuff together, you can meet them where they are in your customer journey, right? So let's say I buy a Black Friday's hat. You send me the receipt, thank you, whatever. I've already given you money, right? So if your next thing is you about to drop a Black Friday's jogger, psychologically, she got the hat. Let me see if she wants the jogger. right? Whereas with the algorithm type stuff, especially now, like it's so tricky to even get in front of the people that actually follow you. You have no control over that. With email, you have control over who you send the email to and what you send them. So like companies who get it really right, the abandoned cart stuff that you see, like, retailers do, at least they should be doing. We saw you looking at this, you didn't finish checking out. Or we saw you buy this will go great with that. Or you haven't bought anything, what do you need? Or you know what I mean? So that is the, like, you can customize it way more. We are in an era where I feel like there's a lot of technology, but people want human connection more, right? So how do you do that? You do that by customizing things, by using names in emails. Like this is so many. Right now, I'm super excited about email because there's so many ways to like leverage it, especially if you have a strong audience, you have a community. Like those are my favorite people to work with. People who have communities, who have large lists, and they just haven't really been doing nothing, or maybe they send a newsletter every blue moon. No, come to Death Row.
So let me see if I can get some coaching real quick. So let's say I'm one of these small businesses. I'm not leveraging email marketing right now. I don't have an email list. I don't even know the first place to start. How do I even curate an email list?
So you have to ask yourself, what can I give to somebody that's going to get them closer to their ideal goal? Now, this is a question for whether you have a product or a service, right? Because sometimes people are like, oh, well, I sell T-shirts. What's the goal? You tell me. What is the brand about? How should people feel when they wear your shirt, when they wear your jogger, when they wear whatever you have? So that's the first thing. How do I get them closer? Not get them to it, because a lead magnet, what we call it in marketing, is designed to help people get a little bit of the result, but probably not the full result. But it's still valuable. Not a PDF, not a, it has to be valuable enough for people to want to go through that part, right? So that's the first question you got to ask yourself. And then you create it. And then as people consume it or use it, and retail a lot of times, it's coupons. This is the camera. If you have a 10% off coupon, do not expect people to give you their information all of the time, because you got to think about it as a consumer. This is another thing that I don't think enough business owners are doing right now. We're not putting ourselves in their shoes. If tax is 6% and you offering me 10, that's really only 4. I don't think I want this $70 item that bad to like, I'd rather just buy it and not give you my email.
Yeah.
So I talk to people and they're like, well, people buy stuff, but they don't give me well, that's why. That's not valuable enough for them to want to go do that. So yeah, figuring out what can I give them that's valuable enough and that they're willing to give me their information. And then you kind of take it and run from there.
Now, let's say I start to build my email list and I got a few folks or a decent amount of folks. I don't know what type of emails to send. What should I be telling these people? How often should I be talking to these people? What should I do?
Yeah, so it really, really does depend. And I'm glad I just said that, because here's another thing, small business owners. Anytime you're talking to somebody in marketing and they always have a for sure straight answer, run. And here, because the truth is, a lot of times it does depend. And that's how marketing really works.
You sound like a lawyer. Lawyers always start with it depends.
Yeah. It's the truth though. So what to send? Always tell people, well, I don't always, but the most simple way to start is ask yourself, what can I commit to? Because the consistency part is where most people get tripped up. So what can you commit to? Can you do a monthly newsletter? Can you do a bi-weekly newsletter? I would say try to do bi-weekly over monthly, depending on what you do, but still try to do bi-weekly over monthly. And then a couple of standard things. So catching them up on industry news, once again, depending on what you do, customer testimonials, any new releases, any new products or services, and then trying to, giving them something that, once again, if they haven't consumed anything from you, if they haven't used anything of yours, something that they can take from that newsletter, go implement, and get some type of traction. So yeah, that would be my standard, no matter what you do, type advice.
And what can people do to help those people actually open those emails? Because I know people who got thousands of unread emails. So how can I give myself the best chance you even see my email?
Number one, don't buy a list, like don't buy email addresses. So it's a two-way thing, right? Actually, this person actually gave you their email address, right? So you got permission to email them, and then you have to have like really good subject lines. Make them, so ask a question, being super specific, being unique, controversial, and always like test it with people around you and test it with yourself. When you send a test email, be like, would I open this? If the answer is no, don't send it. Ask the person next to you, would you open this? If the answer is no, don't send it. We have these crazy expectations sometimes when it comes to the marketing we put out. And once again, we don't step out of the frame to see like, would we even engage with that? We just think, oh, because it's us, it's supposed to. No, it don't work like that. Especially right now, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see if we can do a real live example. I wish we would have had the laptops open, but you seem like you know what you're doing. So I'm sure you're gonna be able to talk us through it. So let's take Black Friday for example. So I do the podcast. Okay. So I do a weekly newsletter to announce the new episode that came out, and then also being able to provide some resources and then also events and things that's happening in the Metro Detroit area, or might be virtual, whatever case may be, but it would apply to the audience. So what I would like to do is to be able to understand from what you know about the podcast, what you know about me, what should I be talking to these people about? How often should I be talking to them? Should it be more than just once a week when it comes to emails and just a newsletter and say, hey, here's the new episode, which I do, but it's sparingly. So if I was to ramp up my communication, what some things what does that look like?
So I'm going to start with the question that, I'm literally acting like you're a client. So what is the ultimate goal for Black, like the people who are in the Black Friday sphere, what do they want from you?
So I think that what they would want from me is being able to have access to or have a streamlined resources that would be helpful for them to either in their own journey in terms of entrepreneurship and or building a business or professional, and then also being able to be tapped into a community of Black business owners that they could be able to leverage for resources and services. Okay,
so you mentioned business owners, people who are professionals, resources for both.
Yep.
One thing I didn't hear you mention that we've talked about kind of offline, like now you got me coaching a little bit. Right. One thing I didn't hear you mention was teaching people how to podcast.
Yes. That's also an element of it. Okay. I would lump that into resources.
Okay, so you would lump that into resources. So now the question is, how often should you actually be sending emails to the people and what does that look like outside of the newsletter? Yeah. So if you were a client of mine, the first thing I would have you do is survey this audience, right? Because I'm willing to bet you've never surveyed the audience.
I did two surveys, but I haven't done one in a while.
Okay. Yeah. So I would survey the audience, like, who's in business, who's a professional, who's looking to learn more about business, who's looking to learn more about podcasting, because like those are kind of like your buckets. So you got people who teach podcasts, people who just want information. And from there, what I would do is, so the newsletter will remain the newsletter because that's how you send the podcast out. But then I probably would curate like specific emails to the professionals and then curate specific emails to the business people. This still can be once a week to them because they're still going to get the newsletter. So now they're getting emails from you twice a week. Yeah. With your community and your audience, because you're not like, yes, you're selling something, but you are really providing information. Like that's kind of your lead magnet, if you will. You don't got to send emails 3, 4, 5 times a week. So yeah, that's how I would do it. I would do everybody get the newsletter. And then if you are looking for more business information, you would get this. And then if you are looking just for more, what was it? Professionals? Yep. So like events, that type of thing, you would get that information. Because then now that two segments, when you start leveraging it with the ad spots and things like that, those audience are separated. So your data is going to be more, more clear and more accurate.
All right. So in terms of, let's say that I do the survey, but I'm not going to get 100% participation. Right, so how do I segment my audience then?
So how do you segment your audience?
Between the people who are interested in podcasting and people interested in business resources.
This is when you then have to create 2 different lead magnets outside of the podcast.
Okay.
Because
to know why they're coming in.
Yes.
Okay.
And then on the back end, it's kind of like how you tag these people as like, so if you have a lead magnet where I'm trying to think of something really quick. So for business people, I can't even think right now. Or let's just say if you no, I'm trying to think of something because I want to give you something that you can actually use. So I'm trying to a lead magnet for so like even your do you have a lead magnet for teaching how to podcast?
I have an asset that I can use for a lead magnet, but I haven't been using it as a lead magnet. If that makes sense.
Okay. So, cause like that, but that would be a whole nother segment because those people could be both.
Yeah.
They could either be business people or professional people. So, maybe you do a lead magnet on how you climb the corporate ladder.
Okay.
That's your professional side, and then the other one is.
I mean, the other side could be because I want to lead people in the podcast, and I have a workbook, podcast strategy workbook that I would lead them in for the podcast side. Learn how to podcast side.
No, so the podcast side we just did the. Oh no.
No, you said the professional side.
It's okay, yeah. So like how you climb the corporate ladder, and then the podcast side to be the workbook. But do you feel like there's still people like entrepreneurs who maybe don't care about podcasting that are on the list too?
For sure, yeah.
Okay, so maybe that could be, download and once again, I'm not really a PDF person, but just to make it tangible so you can understand like 3 organizations you need to be a part of, or maybe that could be just like a short training.
Yep.
But now you gauge these people's interests. And you will have people who may be in all 3 buckets. That's fine, but at least that gives you the opportunity to speak to them all a little bit differently.
Dope. I appreciate the coaching session. That's actually helpful and actionable. So I'm definitely gonna do that. And I got some ideas spinning.
I'm big on both of those. Actionable.
Yes,
helpful.
I
can't stand no fluff.
Yeah. In terms of platforms that people could use for email marketing, which ones do you think that are the best? Let's say I'm getting started, and then let's say I'm a little bit more advanced.
Yeah, so my favorite, and I've used, I'm not gonna lie, I think the only one that I haven't used, but they all kind of work the same, is Flowdesk. That's the only one I haven't used. I've seen it, but I haven't used it. Right now, I would say Kit. I started with them when they were ConvertKit, left, came back. Kit, I love it because it's very user-friendly, and they have a really good sender reputation. Meaning that for the most part, your emails are probably going to actually land in the inbox. As long as the email address that you're sending from has a good reputation as well. Mm-hmm. If you like brand new, well, no, Kit has a free option. You can do a newsletter on Kit with up to 10,000 people for free. And then there's MailerLite, which is also another good free option where you can segment and all of that. I think their free options changed though. I will have to look. A lot of these platforms everybody raising their prices, blaming it on tariffs, whatever. And then if you're really, those are my top 2. I wouldn't recommend ActiveCampaign to anybody right now. I would used to, but not right now. Yeah, I would just go with those 2.
How do you feel about MailChimp? That's what I use. That's
MailChimp
kind of what
is cool. They've come a
on.
long way. So if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, I'd have been like, no.
Okay.
The only thing about MailChimp is they get really expensive the bigger your list is.
True.
And it gets expensive fast.
Yeah.
Like not little incrementally, but they've done a really good job of improving their data as far as like showing you where your people at. Like they got it down to not just the region, down to the city, the state, men, women. They're doing a really good job with that. So I don't think nothing wrong with MailChimp. It's just at some point you're gonna have to ask yourself, do I want to keep paying for this or do I want to make a switch?
Got you.
Yeah.
So that's helpful also, because it's one of those things where I heard about it, I've been familiar with it forever, and then I've been rolling with it. Yeah.
Them Constant Contact has been around for a while. A lot of nonprofits use that. Trying to think what are some of the other OG. Aweber, they've been around forever, but all 3 of them get expensive quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about email marketing. We got very specific and detailed about that, but I want you to be able to help us uncover the truth to what it is to be effective at marketing or marketing in general. What are some of the things that people don't know or should be aware of? Because at the end of the day, email marketing is a avenue of marketing.
The truth is, and I say this on the first episode of my podcast that I just brought back, is that you have to know what your ideal clients want. So this year I've been talking to a lot of people who I would consider to be still early stage, right? Meaning they're not at 10, 15K a month. They trying to get there. Like that's they big one. But most people don't really know what their ideal clients want. And the truth is you have to create products and services that solve a problem. You can't just make stuff because you want to. I mean, you can, but then you can't get upset about and say like, oh, these things aren't working. Well, who asked you for what you have? Or even if someone didn't necessarily ask you for what you have, how are you positioning your product or service as an actual like problem solving item or service? If you don't know what your ideal clients want, and if you don't know how to position what you have that to actually solve a problem for them, no matter what you do, it's going to be tough. Like, I don't think enough people on these platforms who are in marketing talk about that enough. Like, everybody want to give the strategy, everybody want to give the tactic, but it starts with you as the owner, the founder, whatever we calling ourselves these days. You got to know what problem that solves. If you can't tell me that, there's no webinar, there's no ad, there's no nothing that I can help you create that's going to fill that gap. So that's the first thing. The other thing is like, marketing is not matter of fact, meaning nobody can say this is going to work 100% for you the way it worked for somebody else.
Yeah.
I love to tell people all the time, like when people are like, well, which do you think? Should I do this? Should I do? It all worked. You just have to figure out how it works for you. I think one of the biggest issues with marketing now is that people don't let things run long enough to optimize it, or they don't optimize it. So they'll do something for 3 days and be like, oh, that didn't work. It's been 3 days. Or they'll let something go for 30, 60 days. And instead of looking at the data and making changes to certain parts of it, they tear it all down and want to start new. Now, to each his own, but like this isn't a matter of fact thing like, oh, because that worked for Denzel, it got to work for me. No. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people will hire marketing professionals and then they'll try to call them scammers because that didn't work for them. That's why I think right now it's really important to, when you hire like marketing people, work with somebody that's going to help you optimize. Like, yes, you can get your deliverable and you don't really want anybody who's going to give you something and then send you on your way. But you have to be willing to make that commitment and that investment. That's why, especially when I first started, it was a 90-day commitment. Now it depends on who you are and it depends on the service. But for consulting, it got to be 90 days because you're not about to go off and say, and then after that, we can, kind of regroup. It's iterations. Everything is iterations. Like nothing is set it, forget it, and it's supposed to, it's iterations. It's all iterations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very dope. Very nice little mini masterclass.
I try to make it worth people's while.
Of course. Talk to us about, you're an author now, and you have a book that's available for pre-sale. This will come out on Friday, so will it be available for full sale by Friday or
What's Friday?
Friday is the 7th.
So 8th? Books are going to start being shipped November 24th. Okay. But if you buy it before the 24th, you get access to bonuses that people have been asking me to do for a while, and I was like, I don't want to do it because I don't think people are going to use it. So one of the bonuses is a welcome sequence template. It's the exact welcome sequence that I use. There's the re-engagement template that is for individuals. If you have an email list and you haven't said anything to them in a while and you're trying to figure out where do I even start, that template. There's also a 2026 best days, worst days to send emails, no matter if you are selling to B2B or B2C. So those are the 3 bonuses. They will not be free after the 24th. But anybody who orders the book prior to the 24th, you get those every week leading up to the book release.
Now, what is the book about? And
More
what's the name
opens,
of the book?
more clicks, more sales. The 3-phase system to turn email subscribers into customers. It's digging deep into the psychology of how do you go from getting the number to getting married via email marketing. And it's so funny, when I started teaching it this way, which was the first time I taught it this way was 2023 in Atlanta, and the way people's like eyes was like, oh my God, because giving somebody, if you give me your email address and I say I'm gonna send you something, that's just like ghosting. When we're dating, nobody wants to be ghosted. And I think if you look at it like that, as the business owner, you'll prioritize it more because they literally gave you their information. Why wouldn't you follow up? Why wouldn't you? So, yeah, that's what the book is about. And it's not fluff. I mean, it's a couple of stories, but I try not to put a lot of story stuff in there. We got some case studies, but it's a lot of examples. There's resources in the book. I'm proud of it. This was a 2-year project, a project that I did not think I would finish. It was tough.
Now, why a book? Because, like you said, I know you speech, I know you do teaching. So why go the route of writing a book?
So it's a couple reasons why. The main reason why was because the more I started like getting invited to more, what's the word I want to use, to speak at like events where it was marketing professionals or marketing professional type stuff. One of the main questions the event planner will ask is, do I have a book? And the answer was no. And then one of my mentors, who was a part of a speaking bureau, like he speaks professionally all over the world about a subject that is crazy, but he was like, it's time to write a book. He was like, the reason why they're asking you that is because sometimes you'll tell them your fee, but it's easier for them to write your fee off if they can buy 200 books. And I was like, so he was like, yeah, he's like, write the book. He was like, not only that, yeah, I have an offer when I'm on stage, or there's things that I sell, but he was like, a book is just, it's something about it that makes people, not to say I'm not an expert or that I don't know but he was like, it really puts you in another category when it comes to your expertise. He's like, especially with me being a black woman in a male, white dominated space, he's like, you need to write the book. So I started, stopped. And this year, it had to be like April or May. I was making some changes in the business, and I was just like praying about like, all right, God, like what's next? And he literally was like, you still ain't did what I told you to do. And I knew exactly what he was talking about because I've been avoiding it. Like literally been avoiding it. So I was like, you know what? These last 90 days, just do it. I don't really have it. I have a goal, but I don't really have an expectation for it. Like it's really one of those things where I just know it's supposed to be done. But it's still good. It's still a good book.
I bet. I'll definitely be. Can I get a signed copy?
Absolutely. No,
okay. Or will you sign the copy that I get?
Anybody who orders the book before the 24th, it'll be signed, because after that it's going on Amazon and I'm not shipping nothing. But I mean, I'll always have some on hand, but the ones that are ordered prior to the 24th, those will all be signed. I had a lot of people not in Michigan order, so yeah, I'm definitely sending those out. And I'm going to do an ugly sweater Christmas / book release celebration thing that I'll be talking about soon.
Bet.
So anybody come to that, yeah.
Do you feel accomplished now that you have you're at the finish line?
No.
Okay.
I'm hard on myself, and it's for me. It's more so like this should have been done, but I'm glad that I didn't let. What's the word I want to use? I don't know. I'm glad I didn't that I did it. I am glad that I did it. So I don't want to use the word accomplished, but it's kind of like I did it. Yeah. Every time I look at it, I'll be like, I really did it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Got you.
I can't wait to get it. I haven't even
a physical copy.
Yes, it's supposed to be here this weekend, so we'll see.
Okay. And one thing I wanted you to touch on, we had touched on a little bit earlier, but want you to double click, as they say, on it. Could you talk to us in terms of being able to work with these quote unquote high profile clients and then see them generate millions of dollars in their business? And I won't get into your financials. I don't know how that's worked out in terms of your business and how you operate, but being able to be in that space to understand how these folks are generating that amount of money, like what could you talk about? Small business owners, people who are individuals trying to do their own thing, whatever that business avenue is for them, how they could be able to change their thinking to work towards those type of goals. Because everybody said, like, I'm gonna be a millionaire, I'm gonna be a billionaire.
Yeah.
And my pessimistic side of me when I hear people say, I'm gonna be a billionaire. Like, why you want to be a billionaire? Or how are you going to be a billionaire? And it's like, I know it's a mentality thing, and it's some hurdle, it's some mental things I know I need to get over in terms of that, but that's not necessarily my goal in life. Like, I gotta have X, Y, and Z. It's more so about for me, the impact versus like the financials, even though those are very important, but I'm not just throwing numbers out there saying like I want to achieve that because I have $1 million and have the worst life ever. But could you talk about the mentality of what that takes from what you have experienced yourself or what you have been able to see and learn?
Yeah, that's a really, really, really good layered question. So number one, I think the beginning of the mentality is like believing you can do it, but also being mindful of where your gaps are when it comes to making money and then managing money. Because I've literally like worked with people and seen people who don't believe they can make a certain amount of money. So the first flip of the switch is realizing that it is how do I want to say this? I think the first flip of the switch is believing that you can make the type of money you want to make. I'll never forget one of my mentors who ended up becoming a client. He told me, he was like, to make $1 million in a year it's a math problem. Now, what it takes once you have that math problem is a lot of energy, effort. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like these people was only working 2 hours a day. Like, no. And then the manpower that's required behind that. So the first thing is you have to believe it. I'll never forget my first $10,000 day. Never forget it. And then I'll never forget my first $10,000 month. I'll never forget my first $10,000 week. And then I'll never forget my first $10,000 day. Changed the way that I saw money, period. But I don't know if that would have ever happened if I wasn't in certain environments that allowed me to see that was possible. So the belief and then the environment. If you've never been around a person who's made $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a day, it's going to be hard for you to think you can do it. And then it's going to be hard for you to understand what it takes for you to do it. So belief, environment, and persistence.
Can you introduce me to these folks? I know you're one of them, but I would like to be surrounded by more of them.
Yeah, but and then persistence. Like, I'll never forget. Where was I? I forgot where. I think I was in one of these cohorts that I joined this year locally, which is, just doing stuff. And I started talking about, numbers. And one of the girls was like, how do you just talk about numbers like that? And I'm like, well, that's what I'm used to. But that comes from the environment that I was working in. Like, if I'm helping people make millions, or if I'm helping this person do 27,000 in a day, now there's some things that go along with that, right? Yeah. Their community, how many. But if I see them doing it, what makes me think I can't do it? Now, once again, once that belief, then it's environment, and then it's what do I create? How much do I charge? And it's that tactical stuff that everybody think that's where you start. That's not where you start. You gotta believe you can do it. Because for a while, I didn't believe I could. I never get one. I was talking to one of my mentors, and he asked me what the goal was. And at this time, I was just trying to get to 20K a month. He like, bro, you still on 20? And I'm like, he was like, that's a belief. If you haven't hit 20 yet, this is literally what he told me. He was like, you have a belief issue. You don't have a service issue. You know how to do what you know how to do. Everybody, so now what is the limiting belief that's keeping you from doing that? And then once you make the money, now you got to tear down all the beliefs about how you spend your money. So it's a never ending. I haven't done $1 million in a 12 calendar year yet, and I know it's my fault, but I've seen some pay.
Yeah,
but I also know for a fact. Yeah, I could have. Those years I didn't, where I was on pace, I'm not gonna lie, burnt out, tired. But that comes from me not properly using the money I was making to hire more help. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it ain't as black and white as people make it seem on the internet.
Yeah,
it's really not. And then not only that, okay, you do $1 million in a year. How much of that you taking home though?
Right, because so that's revenue.
So you do $1 million in revenue, but what's the team? How much was ads? Like, so it's a never ending. And now when I hear people say it, I'll be like, well, why? Because it was at one point in time, I was working with a client. They was like, you only right now with this administration, I can't remember which one it was. He was like, the sweet spot is 750. He was like, once you go over that, 300 of that is probably gone. So you back. So even that, like, you just got to know why you want to make that kind of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I don't even know what to add after that. That was definitely a sermon. So I appreciate you for sharing that. And can you tell the people where they can find you, how they can tap in with you if they want to leverage your services, if they want to get a book, where can they find all this information at?
Yeah, so social media platforms, everything is Cierra Seay, CIERRASEAY. The book is mc3book.com. www, the HTTPS, all that stuff. Yeah, those are and if you do want to get in touch with me about services, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. That's the easiest way. Subscribe to the YouTube, all that stuff.
Bet. What's the YouTube? Oh,
Cierra Seay.
Cierra Seay. All right, perfect.
Everything my name.
Perfect. And do you want to plug your podcast real quick that you are launching or relaunching?
Yeah, so it's relaunched. So $1 Million Messaging Podcast. It is not your typical marketing podcast. This is real, actionable things that you can go and implement in your marketing from a messaging standpoint, as well as email marketing. I'm doing industry spotlights next season, which is going to be super fun. The first season is all messaging. And that goes back to the question I asked you about, like, what do your ideal clients want? Like, we got to start at the foundation, which, once again, a lot of people don't start at with marketing. They want to do the website. They want to create the shirt. What are we even talking about here? So, yeah, the first episode is out, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then YouTube.
Very dope.
Yeah.
Sierra, we appreciate your time and for you pulling up to Black Friday's podcast.
Anytime.
A lot of gems, a lot of wisdom.
Back.
Yeah, come on back. You're welcome to come back anytime, and we appreciate the gems and the wisdom that you shared and making us smarter about email marketing.
Making us smarter. I appreciate it. I never take for granted when people ask me about what I do or how I do it. So thank you for the opportunity. Give it up to you for this platform.
Appreciate it. Thank you. That's high praise.
That's how you do it.
Real quick, how can we turn Black Fridays to $1 Million podcast? Go.
You got to get some ad spots more than likely.
Okay.
That's probably going to be the easiest way to leverage it. Yeah.
Sponsors, brand deals, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So brands, holla at me if you looking for a podcaster who talks to Black millennials about business. Tap in with me. I'm here. I'm happy to help.
I like that specificity. Black millennials about business.
Yeah.
Because if I own a business and my target market is Black millennials,
right.
Now I want to give you money.
There we go.
See?
So if you know, tell your friends. Hit me up.
Tell my friends. That's so funny.
All right.
Tell my friends.
Everybody watching, listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.